Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. It's been too long since we've been able to hang out together, and I'm glad you're back with me. We're gonna have fun today, you guys. We are gonna be taking a look at a bunch of new Crosley storage solutions, and what excites me about this the most is the fact that they have put out some products to address the needs of storing 7-inch records or 45s, and that to me is the number one thing, because you can find boxes and you can find crates. They're out there, but they've brought a couple very innovative things to the market. I know other companies sell 45 storage solutions, but I'm really excited to see Crosley do it. I think it will be very interesting. So we'll see how they stack up. Now, not all storage solutions make a whole lot of sense. Sometimes it's form over function, and I'm not really into that when it comes to storage. We just need a place to store our records effectively and have it look good too. Now, one of these products looks like something you've seen before, but it is done in a completely different way. So I want to stress that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Before we get started on the video, I want to talk about briefly something that you're seeing in some of my videos flashing at the top of the screen sometimes, and that is the includes paid promotion tag. So YouTube encourages creators to put that on there, obviously when they are paid to do a video. We have never been paid to do a video. We have never taken a dime, but sometimes we do get products without paying for them. And so we just decided to be on the safe side and go ahead and put that up there. It's kind of a gray area whether or not a product sample qualifies as a paid promotion, but that's what that's about, just in case you were wondering. A lot of times we'll just buy this stuff, but sometimes companies will offer a product sample for review. So that's what that's about, in case you are wondering. But enough of that. It's time to get into this show. You're not going to want to miss this. This is Record-ology. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you would, please. I'd appreciate it. If you're new to vinyl, then let's touch base really quickly on storing records. The number one thing you don't want to do is do what I'm doing right here, and that is store them flat. You would think, well, this is logical, keeps them flat, keeps them level. Well, the opposite is true. They actually end up warping if they're stored flat. So they need to be stored vertical like this. That introduces the need for what we're going to be talking about here today, ways to store records vertically. You could just get a cardboard box. You could get a number of things that would work to hold your records upright. And if you're looking to do this on an extreme budget, that is available, and it's something I've done before. Crates, old milk crates, stuff like that. Works really well, just keeping them vertical. Bookshelves, if they can handle the weight, is another solution as well. They can be tilted a little bit. You just don't want them stacked like that. That's the number one thing. By the way, this is a very strange record. We'll be giving this away on that's really, wow. I guess you're supposed to put quarters on each of the faces. Very strange. This is one of the records we're going to be giving away soon on one of our lives. Another reason to be subscribed, because if you're not subscribed and you don't hit the bell notification, you may not know when we go live. But back to the topic at hand. If you have some money, same thing goes with 7-inch records too. If you have some money and that you can invest in proper storage solutions, you can really up your game in that world. I also want to try this out with some of my 45 RPM box sets. This would work, if they'll hold these, then they'll also hold reel-to-reel tape boxes because they're about the same dimension. And again, I'm really excited about storing 45s because right now, my only 45 storage solution consists of a plastic tub with rounded edges, which is not ideal because that can introduce warping, and a cardboard box, which is functional, but it'd be kind of cool to do it a little bit more eloquently. So without further ado, let's jump into the first product. Okay, first up to bat, we're going to look at 4 things, by the way. There's 4 items. We're going to have kind of a grand finale with this crate. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now it's a crate, but it's unlike any other crate you've ever seen. And if you didn't want to fiddle with putting together a crate in the past, stay tuned. You'll be interested in this. All right, so this is the Record Storage Display Stand, AC1049A-NA. And as you can see, it's in this slim box here. And yeah, this looks like something, I think we reviewed a stand by somebody in the past that was similar to this. It might have been, I forget what it was, but we've seen something like this before. So it's got a little instruction booklet, and it's all in this saran wrapped package. So let me put it together and we'll see if it's worth it or not. Okay, so in the box, we've got 2 pieces of acrylic plastic. They have like a wrap on them to protect the surfaces. We've got the 2 rails, I guess you would call it, with the branding on there. It's like a stained wood. We've got 2 of these pieces right here, and it does require some assembly for Phillips screws, and they do include a little Phillips screwdriver, which is a nice little screwdriver. So let me go ahead and put it together, and I'll give you a rating. Okay, only took about maybe 5 minutes to put it together. This screwdriver, while a nice idea, is nowhere near strong enough to get the torque needed to drive those screws, so I had to beef up the screwdriver game in order to get them in there. That's the first note. Second of all, this doesn't sit completely level. There's a little wobble to it, not a huge deal. The first piece of acrylic sits in there okay. The one in the back, though, is way too thick for the slot, so it's just kind of leaning in the back. So again, not a huge deal. These are ribbed, so if you don't have the thing loaded up, the record shouldn't slide forward. And one thing I like about these types of stands is that you can put in either large records or small records. Okay, there you go. So it's a real world experience, you guys. So that not fitting down in that slot is a bit of a problem. That's a frustration. If I pull it up so you can see it, it's just that, you know, the plastic, the piece is just too thick. It doesn't go down in there. What happens if we put a bunch of records in there? Will it flip over backwards? I hope not. Okay, so far so good. Also, you could have them leaning forward too. And maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. In fact, now that I think about it, that's probably what you're supposed to do. 45s, let's see if they fit on there. Yeah, they fit fine, and box sets as well. So that's cool. I do like that. I think that's cool. I'll actually use that. I think that is a good storage solution. Again, a little kludgy with this piece not fitting in there the way it should. But besides that, I think that's a good solution. And if that's your styling aesthetic, if that looks cool to you, then, you know, go for it. I think that one will work. All right, on to the next. So we are going smallest to largest in terms of the box. So the next size up is this guy, which looks to be for 45 RPM records, or 70, or I should say 7-inch records. It's small. This is the AC1051A-NA, and it looks just to be a box that will hold your records. No assembly required, I hope. We got a giant warranty sheet, and it's just sitting in here, which is great. That's perfect. All right. Oh, interesting. It feels like maybe that's pine, or it's a light wood. It feels like an open cell light wood. I like it. That is cool. Yeah, that looks sharp. I mean, it's nothing to do in terms of setup. Obviously, we're going to be putting in smaller records. See how they fit. Fit perfect. Yeah. Let's put these box sets in here. They fit perfectly. And I also like how these kind of will act as handles. That's awesome. All right, that's my favorite so far. I like this the best. That's cool. That's a 2 thumbs up solution right there. Very cool. I'm not sure if that's available in other colors. If you don't have like the light colored wood thing going on, that might stick out from a designing standpoint. But yeah, that's an easy winner. No assembly. I like it. All right, on to the next. So this one is similar to the first one we looked at. It's got a similar style. Now, in the picture to this, it has this slanted piece kind of shown to the back. I'm curious what the other one looked like. Let me look at the box. See, the way I look at, I guess that's supposed to be the front piece in this case. That would be the front and that would be the back. I don't know. I can't decide which is the front and which is the back. As we saw, it really needed to be kind of turned around there. Okay, so this is the AC1052A/BA record storage display stand. You guys always think I'm way too easy to impress, but interesting. The wood on this, I guess it's the same color. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Kind of like the magazine rack design. I don't know what you would call this. So some assembly will be required. Let me get it out of the package and we'll see what's involved. One smells like varnish. It instantly took me back to the Pinewood Derby days of Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. Yeah, apparently there's no tools needed. It just kind of not a self-assembly thing, but you kind of put it together with no tools. Interesting. Look at this wood. Doesn't that kind of look like bamboo or something? I can't imagine it would really be bamboo without there being a lot of advertising saying this is bamboo, because that would be a selling point. But a really interesting design here. I kind of like it a lot. So, all right, let's see. How do we put this thing together? I think it's, again, just supposed to be rails and one of these guys in the front, one of these in the back. Varnish might be getting to me a little bit. Let's see how this works. This one looks like it's only going to work for larger records. Yeah, okay. I put that on backwards, but I think you get the idea. Okay, yeah, interesting. It really looks like a magazine rack. It's kind of loose and wobbly, but once you load it up with records, I'm sure it'll be just fine. You're not going to be moving this around that much. Even with the weight of those records, it seems to be doing fine. One thing I really like about this type of an organizer is the ability to, flip through records right in your own home. That's another reason why I really like crates, is because you're able to do crate picking, crate digging right in your own home. So this is okay. This is good. It doesn't have a huge capacity, as you can tell. But this would be good for somebody who maybe just doesn't need or want a bunch of records. If you wanted to store, hundreds and hundreds of records, you probably wouldn't buy a bunch of these. You would probably go for a bunch of crates. So if you had, what does this hold? Maybe 10 or 20 records. If you had, or maybe 30. If you had a smaller collection, this might do the trick. I can see this, next to somebody's music stand on the side of their couch, sitting on the floor even, or maybe on a counter. And for that, yeah, I think it works. This looks like a plywood construct, but no worries, no problem. Okay, and the final product we're looking at today is the record storage crate. But wait, there's more, in that there's a kind of an interesting feature about this that the other Crosley record crates, we reviewed some cool ones like the Beatles ones, different fits and finishes and things of that nature. But this does something that none of those do. This, by the way, is the AC1050A-NA. And this is by far the largest that we have looked at so far. And let's open it up. Styrofoam. Obviously, there will be some assembly required. And if you remember, when we put together the other ones, we get the 100th anniversary dealio there. When we assembled those other crates, they were pretty time consuming to put together. I think it took me like 20 minutes per. There was a lot of screws, a lot of parts, and there was a lot of elbow grease required. So the secret or the surprise with this unit is there are no tools required. So if you don't want to deal with tools, screws, parts, and all the effort that goes into that, this, like two of the other three solutions we looked at, requires no tools. So let me unpackage it and we'll see what we've got in the box. All right, got everything out here. We got 5 pieces to put together. It looks self-explanatory. I think there was a manual in there. I'm just gonna go for it. Hopefully I can figure this out, but don't hold your breath. The finish is just sanded but unstained plywood. There's no coloration to it. It's just natural, wood. The pieces are numbered. And we've got the branding on this piece right here. So let's go ahead and put it together. I'll let you know how it went. I wish I could say that I just put that together one try, no worries whatsoever, but it was a bit of a puzzle. I had to flip some of the pieces backwards and forwards. I did get it together. Maybe took, once I, figured out what I was doing, it was maybe a 2-minute thing to put together. It's a bit of a puzzle. In terms of how sturdy it is, it's definitely not as sturdy as a regular Crosley crate. That being said, once it's loaded with records, it'll be more sturdy. And again, you're not going to be moving this too much. One thing I think is a little bit odd is if you lift this up, you can see down there, let me zoom in a little bit, that there are these slotted pieces, those L-shaped legs from the board that look like they're supposed to go in and then slide over. Both of them, as you can see, have notches on the left. But once you put this in here, it doesn't move to the left. It doesn't slide over. It just goes straight down there. So when you pick it up, it's not slotted properly in terms of the way it's put together, in terms of what I can see anyway, because it can't move to the left. It has to go straight down because this piece is butted up against that piece. So there's no room for it to move left or right. If you're not going to move it around and you value the ease of assembly over maybe how rugged it is, then I think this will be fine. Let's put some records in it. Obviously, this is only going to be useful for large records, 12-inch records. Let's see how they fit. Yeah, fits fine. Actually, I get a little bit of a gap on the side there. So, actually, wait, why do we? That's because this piece. Okay. So yeah, not as rugged as I would like to see, but all right, we've got a little bit of a gap still. So they do fit. And you can fit a decent size amount of records in there, and you don't have to have any tools to put it together. You just have a little bit of patience. You know what I mean? So if I had to rank them, how would I rank them? Okay, so here they all are. How would I rank these? Let me know your guys' favorite in the comments down below. This is my favorite by far. It's rugged, it's solid, there's no assembly required. So that's number one. For number two, I'm gonna go with that. I know we had a little bit of an issue with that plexiglass, but I'm planning on using this for small records and boxes, like box sets. So for my use, I think that'll be fine. So that's my second favorite. My third is going to be this. It's a little bit, the downside to having no screws is that they're just not as sturdy. But again, once you're loaded up with records, you should be fine. The only downside to this is the capacity is pretty limited. If you're investing in some storage, to only be able to store so many records can be frustrating. But again, if that's the only storage you need, then there you go. And in last place, I'm going to put the crate just because the fit and finish wasn't quite what I liked. It does feel like it could come apart. But I think that we've got some winners here and things that are definitely interesting solutions for storing your vinyl. So like I said before, these are new, very, very new. In fact, as of the publishing of this video, they may not even quite yet be available on Amazon. So if they are available, there'll be links down below. And if they are not available, there will be links down below as soon as they are. So check the description down below and see if there are links. If not, hang tight. They'll be there eventually. We'll probably put a community post when they are available because I think these are cool and I think they're very useful. So let me know your comments down below, back down below. Always want to hear your comments in the comments section. Thank you guys so very much for being there. Happy record hunting. God bless. And we will see you next time.